Vampires, Moonlight, Vampire Slayers, Vampire Diaries, Blade, The Lost Boys, the Twilight series. Do I need to go on? Thousands of movies and sequels, spin-off films and television series, novels, comic books, you name it. It seems that the public is captivated by vampires, and that the younger generation are especially captivated. When I was a boy, I watched the horror films, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Dracula, The Werewolf. I watched all of them. I was most scared by the Wolfman. The actors who were famous at that time were men like Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, a Hungarian actor, 1882 to 1956, who played Dracula. I will always remember the first time I watched that old black and white movie with Bela Lugosi starring as Dracula. The last time I saw his name was on a street sign in Budapest, Hungary, named in his honor. This colorful though tragic character was actually buried in one of his own Dracula capes. Many children like to be scared, just like us adults, telling scary stories by the campfire, perhaps, as we did in the Boy Scouts. Or maybe we just like to curl up with a scary book, ghost stories. Even my own children enjoyed being scared. We used to play a game called Dracula. We would play it inside the house, usually, and I would be Dracula. And they would have to all... It was a hide-and-go-seek game, really. They would have to count to a certain number while I secreted myself in some dark corner of our home. And then they would search. When they found me, I wouldn't say, I give up, you got me. I would shriek. I would be even more frightening. One time, I was actually playing outside, and I was on top of our roof. And they didn't think to look up there until I descended to frighten the wits out of them. No, I didn't traumatize them. I'm simply illustrating that I'm like a lot of you. This stuff is interesting. It's fascinating. We know it's just a game. But we're all a little bit affected by this. The vampire theme has been resurrected lately, it seems. Yet really, it's very old. Thousands of years old. I've read stories of vampires in the ancient Babylonian culture, the Egyptians, Chinese, and so forth. So this fascination with death, with eternity, goes way back. And a lot of people who would never be caught dead in a church would certainly be caught in the movie theater watching the latest vampire release. Yet there's a new twist with this latest generation of bloodsuckers in the vampire genre. And that is that they're not necessarily monsters anymore. Can we say admirable? Even heroic? Despite their antiquity, it seems to me anyway, that vampires have now truly come of age. Now what I'd like to do is consider a number of contrasts between vampires and Jesus Christ. Often the vampire is called the Dark Christ. I'll explain this as we go. The first contrast. The vampire was human, but now he's no longer truly human. He's been transformed into a being who preys on human beings. Not for their good, of course, but for his own advantage. What a contrast to Christ.